Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Rayquaza with the new move Dragon Ascent in the Open Master League. I of course have one from the Go Fest in London, so you have to use a meteorite to get this attack, so you're going to have to wait until the Global Go Fest if you want to get it, if you don't go to the New York one. But this move is going to be very interesting. You're going to see it here as well quite often being used because it was a lot of fun to use this move. And here, first game, we're going to encounter a MEWeedle against our Lugia. I might have not played every game perfectly fine here as well as the opponent gonna get to another move here. I'm going to be able to shield this side strike up and I can try to farm them all the way down as we're gonna get out the Dialga. That's going to be a very bad matchup for me right now. I can still go ahead and go for the Aero Blast here right now, but I can now let this move go through and swap into the Giratina, allowing me to go into my Rayquaza. I still have the Breaking Swipe. It's a double legacy Rayquaza here right now. As the Shadow Ball is gonna get shielded by me, I can go ahead and go for the Breaking Swipe here. Trying to undercharge, but it doesn't really matter as the opponent going to go ahead and go for their charge move here right now. Going to be the Omnious Wind actually, which really surprised me. They're gonna get the boost, which is also really surprising. But, of course, first game here, first Dragon Ascent coming through, and while they have a shield, they can still say goodbye to that Dialga there, as they're going to be able to knock them out. Next opponent, we're going to have a Dialga against us in the lead here right now, which is going to be interesting, as we can go ahead and go for the bait here right now. I sometimes bait, I sometimes don't bait. This is always kinda depending on my mood right now. Bait definitely helps you out, but you don't have to bait to win this matchup. Like, you don't have to bait at all to win this matchup. This team, though, it's a little bit weak against other Lugias, and here we're going to encounter a Shando Lugia against us right now, so this can be a little bit tricky as the opponent gonna go ahead and go for the charge move. You might have wondered, why did I go for the Sky Attack that early? Just because the opponent was like half a tick away basically for the charge move, and I should be able to outspeed them to the next Aero Blast here right now, and might get the shield from the opponent as well, or the knockout, which I'm going to take here right now, as this should only be the Sky Attack. And like this, I can realign, which definitely can help me out quite a bit as the Giratina swaps in here right now. This team itself went really well for me, by the way. I went, I think 10 and 3 with this team here, so definitely a really solid one. I went 9 and 3 with the team that you saw earlier today, and this was the 10 and 3 run with this team, which is really cool. So here we're going to now see the Personal Blade coming through, going to knock out the opponent, and they're going to forfeit with their Giratina in the bag. As we can move on to the next game here, we're going to encounter a Groudon against a Mamoswine. Fairly bad lead for me. This Pokemon can sweep my entire team, but actually, you can win this in the 2-shield scenario as a Groudon if you play it right. You can go ahead and go for the Fire Punch here, which does a lot of damage if it hits, but also it would get a lot of times the shield from the opponent, and you kinda be forced to use another shield here right now, trying to go for another Fire Punch here eventually, trying to get another shield from the opponent, but a Fire Punch is not enough to knock them out from this range, but what is enough is a Precipice Blade. So if you bait twice, you're actually going to be able to realign, knock out the Mamoswine, and your Groudon going to be fine here right now. As the opponent going to swap into a Giratina, you see me building up some extra energy here because I expected the opponent has something like a Dialga in the back, and I kind of want to keep my Groudon alive for that one. And they do have a Dialga in the back, which is kind of funny that I predicted this one. So I will be able to now still, yes, you see the opponent going to go for a charge move here, I still will be able to have my Groudon for this one. And you're going to see me doing also a very nice play here as well. I'm going to go into my Groudon, and I'm not going to throw immediately. I try to get my HP as low as possible, which will allow me to now give the opponent not as much farm for their Giratina, as well as I can go ahead and go for another Fire Punch here right now. Just a little bit of chip damage as we can move on into our Rayquaza. One Breaking Swipe is all we need, as the opponent only can hope for a boost here, which they actually go for, and they're gonna get the boost, which is insane. But it doesn't matter, as the Breaking Swipe still going to knock them out. That was a wild one at the end. I was like a little bit surprised about the boost there, but yeah, we're going to move on into the next game. I have to say that as well, while there are always like some teams where you feel like you completely get hardwalled and there's like nothing that you really can do in battles, I feel like I had a lot of really great leads for this team. I had a lot of Dialgas in the lead, and this of course kinda also impacts the results that you get from a team. Like, you can play this team, for example, another day and you don't encounter a single Dialga in the lead and just like, I don't know, Ho-Oh, Lugia, whatever, and then you're gonna go really bad with this team. And this is like the thing that you kind of always have to consider when you see a team, or like when you see your own results. What did you encounter? There are some good days, there are some bad days. Here, for example, I definitely had a very decent day in terms of the Pokemon that I encountered with this team. As you're going to see here, the opponent going to have their Giratina again. I'm going to still keep my Groudon alive just in case, but they're actually going to have their own Lugia here right now, allowing me to go for an Aero Blast, doing a ton of damage already, but it's going to be a tough one to still come back from. I still can go ahead and go for the Sky Attack, and my opponent makes a huge mistake here right now, because they actually went for their own charge move here. I don't know why, but this is definitely beneficial for us, as we're going to be able to swap out into our Rayquaza, go for the full farm down here. They can still get to a Sky Attack, but that's all they're gonna get to. Otherwise, they would have got to the Aero Blast in time. This would have been definitely a little bit trickier, but here we can now go ahead, move on with the Breaking Swipe and just destroy the opponent's Giratina, you thought. I should have got the damage onto the opponent already, but it didn't work out yet, but luckily the opponent did knock me out there. Otherwise, the game nearly, cost me the game there as well, basically, because of the lag or whatever happened here. But we're gonna move on now into the next matchup here, Dialga against us. We can go ahead and go for the Fire Punch with our Groudon, trying to get the shield, and again, it worked out fairly well. But this is not something that you should try out at home all the time. It is the easier play to just go straight press this blade against Dialga, which will allow you to definitely have a better time here. I see the opponent going to swap out into a Ho-Oh here. Great play by them. I can go ahead and overfarm by quite a bit, and I kind of want to just keep this one alive. As you might wonder why I went to my Lugia, the opponent always going to outspeed me if I want to get to another move here on my Groudon with the Rayquaza. So I kind of wanted to prevent this and go into my Lugia. Don't think this was the smartest play, as they're going to still get to another move here, so this was definitely not how it's supposed to happen. But I will be able to farm them down even with my Groudon right now, getting a ton of energy, 100 energy right now, and the opponent going to have their own Groudon in the bag. I wish I played it different now. I definitely should have went to my Rayquaza against the Ho-Oh, and this was definitely also the wrong thought process of going to try to get up to a move with my Groudon himself. So in hindsight, should have played it a little bit differently here. I'm still going to be able to get to a Breaking Swipe. I'm still going to be able to force, use my shield here. But this is going to be a tough one to still come back from. The opponent does chunk quite a bit. Can I get to the move? I cannot get to the move here, as the opponent is going to now go for the Iron Head. I can still farm them down. Maybe I can get to a Fire Punch right now. And now you see why IVs matter. You see on the right side, my Groudon has 14 attack. I guarantee lose the MP tie against a Shando Groudon that my opponent had there. I don't know how everybody has Shandos for the Master League. That's kind of wild. But yeah, this is where IVs matter. I should most likely build another Groudon as soon as I have a decent one that's maybe shiny, maybe a Shando. When I get one, eventually I can build that one. But here you're going to see me make a weird play again. We're kind of having an ABB line, so I kind of want to swap into my Lugia, and look what we're going to get out of here, exactly the Pokemon that you want to get out of here, which is going to be the Excadrill. This will be very nice for us. We can take 2 Rock Slides from them for sure, and I can still reach the Aero Blast to do a ton of damage against them. This will be super good for us now, as we can now farm them all the way down with our Groudon afterwards. But honestly, they might still even be forced to use another move here, and they will be forced to do this, which now allows me to even go into my Rayquaza maybe to get some extra energy here. And Rayquaza can debuff whatever wants to come in here. And let's see what comes in here right now. It's going to be the Zacian. Very bad for us, but I will be able to still reach another charge move here right now, which is going to be the Precipice Blades. They're going to shield this move up, which is going to be okay for us, but I have to keep my Groudon alive here. Or so you think, at least, because there's actually another play that we can do here. And I'm gonna go all for that. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have done anything like this here right now, but it is for the video, right? We're going to take a look at Dragon Ascent right now. So no, why not do it, right? We're going to just go ahead and let this move go through. Big mistake by not throwing earlier. I should have thrown way earlier against the opponent's Giratina. I wanted to go for the full farm down, but I just underestimated it. I'm gonna go first for the debuff here right now, because I need a little bit more damage. It's just not in range for the Dragon Ascent yet, but is this the range for it now? Oh, did it pay off? It did pay off. 1 HP, and the Rayquaza was able to destroy the Zacian there with a little bit of a trickier play, but we can now move on into the next game. Landorus lead, fairly bad for us, but the opponent running a double flying line already with the Yveltal in the back here right now. Yveltal is actually a fairly decent Pokemon to deal with for us, because it can bait a shield from them, as we will be able to just go ahead and go for the Sky Attack. They're going to be forced to shield, as Aero Blast will have knocked them out most likely, or came close to that. But as you're going to see right now, Dark Pulse is coming through. We will be able to realign our Rayquaza against the opponent. We know already that they have the Landorus in the lead, and I'm going to try to farm them all the way down here right now. Does this work out? Nope, it definitely does not work out, and I'm gonna go for the CMP tail right now, so the opponent is not going to be able to get another charge move off against me, and we're going to see the, yeah, inevitable in the back there, the Dialga coming in against us, but we will have now the Groudon aligned against the opponent's Landorus. Stone Edge comes through, going to do not as much damage. It's like the issue for Groudon versus Landorus. Landorus kind of wants to go for the superpower, but Landorus doesn't want to debuff themselves. So this matchup here right now is actually fairly okay for us as the Fire Punch is coming through. We're going to get some more damage onto the opponent, but as you're going to see right now, they go for another Stone Edge, so I can actually knock them out with this Fire Punch right now. Do they use their shield there against me? Let's see. They do not, and I'm going to swap out immediately, go for the Breaking Swipe against the opponent's Dialga. And I might make some mistakes here right now. Let's take a look at this. We can go for one Breaking Swipe, we can go for another Breaking Swipe right now. And honestly, I kinda regret something here. I should have used a shield. While the opponent most likely wouldn't be able to go down there from my fast move, I just had to hope that I can get enough damage with the one fast move that I get through, or like with a Dragon Tail, in order to get them into farm down range, because sadly one Fire Punch is not enough. And I kinda regret not using my shield there, but I felt like, okay, if I use the shield there, the opponent gets still to an Iron Head against my Groudon, it would have been over anyway. But yeah, here, next opponent. This time around we didn't bait and the opponent didn't shield, so that's going to be a very good game here, as the opponent is gonna already have one less Pokemon. This is what I mean, like, you don't have to bait, and like, honestly, the fact that I baited twice before in this video in the lead, and now went straight for the charge move and literally just nuked them away was just so scripted for me. That was super nice. But we're gonna still have to win this game here, of course, but we are so far ahead, and there's nothing they can do anymore. They're going to forfeit here right now as well, and we can move on into the next game. Second to last game for today, we're going to encounter the Zacian in the lead. This will be okay for us. It's exactly where we kind of want to see the Zacian, but I always hate to play against Zacian in the lead. No matter which Pokemon I have, I always feel like Zacian going to win the 0 shields, or like the 1 shield, or the 2 shield, and it's always like an awkward place to be in. So, we're going to use a shield here against Close Combat. I kinda thought of swapping out here, but I didn't, as they're gonna go for another Close Combat blindly afterwards. They're gonna do some nice damage, and they're going to swap into a Landorus. I'm gonna go for the Fire Punch right now, and I'm just thinking, what am I going to do here right now? I'm going to swap out into the Lugia, which can take 2 Stone Edges actually. Lugia is fairly bulky, it just barely can take 2 Stone Edges, which is a very nice for this matchup. And this is where, for example, also the Shadow Lugia is not as great as the normal one. You're just going to be able to knock them out here right now. We're gonna see the Dialga coming in right now, and we can hope that we can go for the Arrow Blast. Let's see, can we get there in time? No, they're going to throw beforehand. But I'm going to use a shield here, and I'm going to pretend here a little bit. You're going to see me making a very weird play here now. You're going to see me swapping into the Groudon, because I have to get rid of the Zacian, and the opponent wants to, of course, swap out here. So why they thought, oh, I was so cool, I'm gonna catch a move here right now, this actually helped me out so much more. But sadly, I die on my charge move here right now, and now it's all down to Rayquaza. They're going to go for a charge move here right now. What is it going to be? It's going to be the Draco Meteor. No, I thought it was just an Iron Head, we would have survived it. But Lugia comes in clutch, goes for the Sky Attack, and calls it a day for the opponent, as it's going to be a very nice 1 HP win there. And we can move on into the final game of today's video. I wonder what we're going to see here. We're going to see a Zacian lead again. This is going to be interesting, as I'm going to swap out immediately into the Mewtwo. I'm going to take this shield advantage here, basically, as they're usually going to shield this move up. I could have went for the bait as well, because there was no reason that I go for the Fire Punch usually. So they're always going to shield, and I was able to actually catch a move here. I wonder if this is the game that I misplay quite a lot with the Lugia. There was definitely one in there. I cut out like 5 games or something total. I did like way more games than I wanted to with this team. So we will find out what they're going to happen here. Yeah, for example, here I misplayed crazy with the Lugia. I should have just went for my charge move way earlier, and now I'm so far behind. Because the opponent going to have the Zacian in the lead, we are having our friend Rayquaza here right now, but it's looking so bad for us. You're going to see me make a weird play here. I'm gonna go ahead and go for one Dragon Tail extra, so I am now at the charge move. And now we're going to encounter the Ho-Oh. If I just was able to realign, if I just went for a move with my Lugia, I would have been so fine. I would have hardwalled the opponent, but I made myself definitely this one a little bit more tricky. But I was super lucky just now to not get the 50% chance to get my attack debuff, because then the game would have been over. But like this, I'm going to be able to force a shield from the opponent here. At least I thought, and I will be able to do this. And honestly, this is going to be very nice, because now I can farm them down. and I just need some damage against the opponent. Okay, still have to go for a charge move here because I did less damage with my Machop than I thought. I just have to hit the Fire Punch to win this game, but sadly the opponent goes for a charge move first, and this is going to be... Wait, it's a close combat. Now the move is in range for the knockout, and the Dragon Ascent is going to save me here. Boom, goodbye Zacian. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.